So I was just writing up my email and talking about, well, I'm having low energy today, and I was kind of writing up my email about this and just listening to our inner selves and kind of working with ourselves. And I thought, you know what, I need to make a quick video about this. This I feel is actually pretty important. Um, and it's one of those where just to be aware of, who we are, what affects us, all these different things, and then how to work with that. Because I find one of the biggest things is having this swimming upstream feeling, like everything is just a fight. Now, we can have this feeling for a few different reasons. Obviously, having overwhelm, like literally life is a struggle when you're overwhelmed. And if you're just not handling it as well that day, it can really, really be quite predominant feeling, that swimming upstream. It can be things like you haven't realized you need extra self-care. You've been pushing yourself too hard and you're starting to get burned out. That's a big sign when you have that feeling of swimming upstream. You need extra self-care. It can be, I've had the feeling when just life has one of those things where things keep happening and things just keep coming at you. And it's just like from all sides where it's just like, okay, like life, you need to stop. And that can start that struggle, that swimming upstream feeling, because it's just a lot to have it, things go wrong or happen in a short period of time, right? But for me, for today, the other thing is I am really affected by weather. And we have tropical storm Helena, I think is what it's called. Helena, whatever. And it's not a hurricane yet, thankfully. So it's passing us by. It's not coming inland or anything. It's staying out in the sea, which is amazing. But it did bring in a ton of cloud and a ton of rain, which is good. We needed it. And I will say I am loving the coolness. It totally, we after the heat wave we had at the beginning of September, it is beautiful. But because it's so cloudy, there's just not a hint of the sun. And like, whew, I am not tired, just low energy. And I don't want this to be confused with like my mood isn't down, like nothing is really different. I'm not grumpy or anything. It's just I literally have lower energy than I normally would. And this is how I've been my whole life, and I know this. So it's one of those things where, like, thankfully, I work from home and I kind of have, I set my own schedule type thing. And today I am really blessed where I don't have a ton going on in the sense of like, I don't have a bunch of meetings or things to show up for. So this morning when I got up, my inner self was like, you need to be comfortable. We need to be comfortable today. And I'm like, all right, self, we can do this. We can be comfortable. We are going to have a bit of a chill day, still get stuff done, but I'm going to not push myself like maybe I normally would because I don't want to have that swimming upstream feeling. Um, so this is where I have learned to compromise. Not everyone is blessed to be able to, just have okay, we have a bit low energy. Let's have a movie day. We're taking the day off. If you can do that, that is wonderful. But not everyone can. So it's like reaching that compromise of, okay, we still need to show up. We still need to do things, but maybe I can be a little bit more comfortable. Maybe I can have change up my food a bit where maybe I have slightly more comfort food, but at the same time, I'm going to maybe have an extra coffee or tea, or maybe a little extra fruit to try and get as much energy as I can so I can get through things the best I can. I know when I used to work at a casino, I had to wear suits or like business clothes every day. And so when I was having one of those low energy days working at the casino, I would actually choose my most comfortable pair of dress pants and a really comfortable shirt, and then my favorite suit jacket over top. So obviously I still had to dress nice. I still had to be in my business attire and do all these things, but I'm as comfortable as possible. And like I said, maybe I'm going to take something extra to make myself, like a comfort food, make myself feel a little better. Maybe I'm going to order my favorite food from the restaurant, give myself that little pick me up, extra coffee, like whatever it is. I work with where I'm at to make it the best that I can. right? As opposed to just thinking, oh, I have to push through this. I'll just pound down a Red Bull and like trying to pretend that this isn't my state, or just ignoring it and faking it till I make it. That's a really big thing in today's world with AI and the deep fakes and AI generated everything, and especially online. Like personally, I never cold DM people ever. Um, I get my inbox is, gets full of these, like, here's this great big giant 2 paragraph log. Here's my business offer. This is why you need me, blah, blah, blah. And it's so impersonal. And I know there's a bot somewhere that is mass DMing like 100 people. It's just icky. I just find it cold and kind of gross. And this is kind of our online world now. Everyone is inundated with, if it's not scammers, it's these, what I think of as more like, it's impersonal salespeople, which to me is like all about money. There's no nurturing, there's no starting a conversation. Like, I had one of my Facebook friends message me and be like, hey, I've got this new weight loss program. I thought you'd be super interested. And I'm like, you literally know nothing about me. I'm like ever. Like, have you even been on my feed at all? And I'm like, if you bothered to start a conversation, I would easily prevent you from wasting your time in writing out this giant paragraph that I don't want to read and sending it to me. And now I have a bad taste in my mouth from you because you've just sent me, oh, I thought of you. Really? Why would you think of me? But they're taught to do these things to try and make it more personal while learning nothing about the people, right? And it's just, if you guys have had this happen to you, it's off-putting. It's just, I don't like it. It's not nice. To each their own. I just don't like it. So I am all about, I know people, I keep getting appointment setters, and I'm like, but that takes away the personal connection with people, right? So we're inundated with all these bots, all these fake this and deep fakes and AI generated pictures and people, and everything is so fake nowadays that people really crave realness. So I feel like if you're just trying to, it used to be, 20 years ago, fake it till you make it and really just, keep on keeping on. And I feel like that's just not the way today. People are going to see through it. They're going to feel that fake vibe. They're going to know something's off. It's like with all the fakeness going on, with everything in our world being so disingenuous, our little spidey senses of this isn't real or this isn't right or something's off have been heightened. So what is way better? You feel that something's off, and you see this person just like, yeah, life is great, everything's great, and trying to like be spunky, whatever they normally are, but you feel something's off and you don't know why, and you're kind of like, oh, not quite sure I want to go there. Or if you feel something off, and all of a sudden you see the person's a bit lower energy, kind of behaving a little bit differently, it's way easier to approach the person or have the person say like, yeah, the clouds got me a little lower energy today, I'm fine, I feel fine, or whatever. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense, as opposed to this person who is being fake. Like, you can kind of sense it. You don't really want to approach that. They're not going to say anything because they're faking it till they make it. And all of a sudden you just have this disconnect that doesn't really get repaired at all, right? I hope you can see where I'm taking this, where it's just, I feel like people, there's so much more respect and acceptance for just saying, hey, yep, just not my usual bubbly self this morning, but I'm doing great. Nothing to worry about. Just didn't sleep well last night. Clouds got me a little bit low energy, like whatever it is. I had a ton of things yesterday, just a bit tired today. Like, just say it how it is. And I feel like it's going to get you so much further. I mean, honestly, who cares? Like, no one's going to judge you for that. I wouldn't think. If they do, that's a them problem for sure. But that is just, in my opinion, so much better than this fake, like, off-putting, right? So it's just, yeah, I would just say, like, it's just not the way to go anymore, that fake it till you make it. Just know, be aware of where you are. Listen to that inner self. Like I said, my inner self was practically screaming, comfy clothes. And I'm like, okay. So our inner selves, our bodies, they're always trying to communicate with us. If you really don't know what I'm talking about with the awareness, I have some videos on building awareness, square breathing, body scan. If they're not in my actual videos here, they'll be in my live. I've done lives on this, building that awareness. It is so important. A square breathing. I have talked about it before, but Google if you have to. 4 seconds, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold that for 4 seconds. So it's literally, a square of 4 seconds. Breathe in, hold, out, hold. And then you rinse and repeat as often as necessary. The trick and how it helps build awareness is that you want to be focused inward, where you think when you're breathing in, okay, what are my shoulders doing? What's happening in my torso, my lungs? How do they feel as I'm breathing in? As I'm holding the breath, what does everything feel like? And you just want to keep the awareness to your body. And that helps build that connection. The more often we do this, the more you're building that connection. Super important. And this is where having that connection built up will allow you, like I said, when I woke up, I could feel it instantly. My body's screaming for comfy clothes. I had an extra cup of coffee. Like I'm just kind of sitting back, riding the wave, listening to myself of like, okay, what else do I need today? Now, don't get me wrong, depending on the situation, like I said, I work from home, so I'm blessed where I can have a little bit more of a flexible schedule. But you need to be able to like that compromise of, okay, well, literally, if I still worked at the casino, okay, well, we have to go stand out on the floor. That's non-negotiable and we have to go do our job. But what we could do, maybe I could have a few more conversations with people, try and distract myself instead of just standing there and being like, my energy's down. Maybe I go talk with a few more people, try engage, try and pass the time a little quicker, things like that. Make the situation as best you can, being aware of where you are and what might help you. And that's also why getting to know yourself, being aware of yourself, what helps you, what doesn't help. And then you can either avoid, if things irritate you when you're lower energy or whatever, like avoid those. What could help you? Just try and do more of those things, right? So just to really have that awareness, work with yourself, compromise with yourself, and have patience, have that grace. We're all just doing the best we can with what we know and have. And, I talked about this in my live last Wednesday where we really are. And people look back and you think sometimes you'll see someone and you're like, is that really their best? But it might be because you think of all the times where you have lost your cool and, the little voice is like, don't do it. And you did it anyway. You said it anyway. You lost your temper. You did something, maybe you regret it or you're embarrassed about it, or you're just like, I shouldn't have done that. But in that moment, like if you think back to in that moment, you almost couldn't help yourself. So in that moment, you really were doing the best you could in that current moment. And sometimes our best isn't very good. And that's just how, like, we're humans. We make mistakes, we're not perfect, obviously. And just to have that patience, have that grace, don't beat yourself up. There's no judgment, and just be like, okay, I didn't like that. What's the lesson I learned? What kind of triggers can I avoid from next time? Why did that situation happen? Like analyze it, learn from it. And then the simple fact of, okay, how do I do better next time? That's it. Keep it simple. We don't have to dwell on it. It's already done. Who cares? Apologize if there's one warranted. Otherwise, learn the lesson, carry on, do better next time. That's as simple as that is. And this is similarly with this. Okay, if we had low energy before, like myself, I have learned that if I try and push through it, ignore it, pound down energy drinks, pretend I'm not lower energy, and it just turns out really badly. And then at the end of the day, I'm twice as tired tomorrow. So it's like I just need to accept it, ride that wave, go with it, compromise where I can for my inner self, try and appease that little person so I don't end up super extra tired tomorrow, and maybe just go to bed a little bit early and I'll be back to good tomorrow. Everything's easy peasy like that, right? Like it's just, don't overthink it, keep it simple, and don't try and fight those currents. And again, that's where, faking it to make it. We're trying to swim upstream. We're trying to ignore what's going on, right? So once we get rid of that struggling feeling, that swimming upstream feeling, like you can be lower energy and you can still be happy. You can still have fun. Like all it, your literal self, your mood is not necessarily affected. It's just your energy level, right? If that makes sense. So don't think that I woke up low energy, I can't have a great day. Of course you can. You just might, maybe you sit a little bit more, maybe you have that extra coffee, whatever it is. You alter a few things to compensate, you compromise. You can still have a perfectly wonderful, happy day though, right? So, all right, I hope I have explained this enough. I hope you're understanding what I'm getting at. Because, yeah, it's just, again, just working with ourselves. It's when we try and fight what we're feeling, if we're trying to ignore what our bodies are trying to tell us, that really adds to the swimming upstream feeling, that struggle. And if you're already overwhelmed, you're just adding to it. So just kind of, again, and do the square breathing. If you don't have that awareness of what you just feel off, you know something's off and you can't tell what it is, start doing the square breathing and really focusing inward on yourself and really building up that awareness. And again, YouTube meditations, there are a ton of meditations to build awareness, mind body connections. So start working on that. It'll really help in the future to help you, again, listen to your body. It's giving us signs and signals all the time. We just have to have the awareness to hear it and listen to it. It really is quite simple. Maybe it's not always the easiest in the beginning when you're like, what is this mind body connection awareness thing? But you will get there. It's like anything. The first time you do anything, it seems very, very difficult. A couple months later, you look back and you're like, can't believe I struggled with that one, right? So just know you'll get there if you're starting off at nothing. And it's always one of those things you can build more. We can never have too strong of a connection. So just know if you can just implement it into maybe a daily practice, a weekly practice, and just to keep it going and make sure that it's always there. That saying, you don't use it, you lose it. We don't want to lose it. So once you start, keep it going, even if it's just like weekly or something like that. So guys, I hope this has been super helpful. And definitely leave me some comments, or if you think I'm a bunch of hooey, let me know also in the comments. I love feedback. I love discussing. If there's another situation where you found you implemented something like this and it really helped, let me know. The more we learn and grow together, the more we all do better together. So, all right, guys, like, subscribe, check the bell, all those wonderful things, and I will talk to you later.